What would happen if, before you even said a word, a woman felt an unmistakable pull toward you? An instinctive curiosity mixed with warmth and a flicker of desire she couldn't quite explain. You've seen this power in certain men. They don't beg for attention, they magnetize it. Tonight, I'm going to hand you 10 specific body language gestures that trigger that reaction without acting, without gimmicks, and without slipping into manipulative nonsense. This is about presence, not performance. It's about signals that her nervous system reads faster than language. If you stay with me fully, you'll not only understand these gestures, you'll install them so they become your natural baseline. I'm going to ask you to do something simple. Imagine you're in a quiet lounge, a bookstore aisle, or a friend's dinner. You notice a woman you find intensely attractive. Do you want your body to broadcast need, or do you want it to broadcast grounded certainty? If you choose certainty, lean in, because each gesture you're about to learn stacks with the next, and by the time we reach the 10th, you'll understand why women describe some men as irresistible before a conversation even begins. Let's get one thing straight. Attraction is not a debate. It's a detection process. Long before she evaluates your resume, she scans for markers of safety, status, warmth, and life energy. Decades of research in nonverbal communication, from Paul Ekman's work on micro-expressions to Edward T. Hall's research on distance, to Judy Burgoon's expectancy violations model and Albert Mehrabian's insights on immediacy, converge on a simple truth. Your body leaks intention. You can try to say the right thing, but if your posture, gaze, timing, and touch are incongruent, her instincts will veto your words. The good news is that you can train those instincts. You can choose calibration over chaos, warmth over neediness, authority over tension. That's what we're doing right now. Before we jump into the first gesture, lock this ethos in. You never force attention, you invite it. You never chase validation, you broadcast value through stillness, timing, and micro-choices that signal a man who has nothing to prove and everything to offer. Consent is your baseline. Respect is your currency. Playfulness is your style. With that frame, let's get tactical. Your first gesture is the lock and release gaze. This is not a stare-down contest, and it's not the evasive glance of a man who fears being seen. It's deliberate eye contact that settles, notices, and then lets go. Here's the sequence. When you first meet her eyes, hold for a heartbeat longer than average. Think 2 to 3 counts. Then let your gaze fall to the corner of her mouth for a microsecond and return to her eyes. This triangular pattern softens intensity while amplifying intimacy. Ekman's research shows the eyes carry the bulk of emotional information, while the area around the mouth communicates warmth and play. Your goal is to signal, I'm present, I'm calm, and I'm comfortable with desire. Don't overdo it. The ratio to aim for in a flirty early interaction is roughly 60% eye contact to 40% casual glance-aways. If you feel your eyes straining or your forehead tensing, you've crossed into pressure. Pressure repels. Presence attracts. Train this by practicing with a timer. 2 seconds of soft, effortless contact, 1 second of release, then back. You're telling her nervous system, this man sees me and he doesn't need to cling. Your second gesture is the slow head turn with the half smile. Speed communicates need. Slowness communicates choice. When you notice her, resist the quick pop of attention. Instead, turn your head a fraction slower than your impulse. Tilt it slightly, not the chin-up arrogance that screams superiority, but a subtle ear-forward angle that signals curiosity, and let a half smile appear that engages the muscles around your eyes, not just the mouth. Ekman refers to the authentic smile as involving the orbicularis oculi, which crinkles the eyes. A mouth-only grin can look salesy. A soft eye smile suggests relaxed confidence. The half smile should be asymmetrical and brief, like you caught a private joke and let her in on it for a second. Then neutral. This tiny choreography says, I noticed you, I like what I see, and I am not in a hurry. Timing hack. The half smile lasts less than a second, then fades as your attention returns to your environment. That non-clingy fade makes her want to re-engage your focus. Your third gesture is the expansive anchor. In studies on posture and perceived attractiveness, open, expansive stances consistently score higher than closed, contracted ones. Think of the work by Carney, Cuddy, and Yap on expansive posture, and by Vacharkul Semsuk and colleagues on how open body language predicts initial romantic interest. Replication debates aside, there's a robust, time-tested truth here. An open chest, visible hands, and relaxed shoulders read as safe dominance. Here's how to set your anchor. Plant your feet at shoulder width with a micro-external rotation so your knees don't knock inward. Unlock your hips. Imagine your breastbone lifted 3 millimeters, as if a string gently raises it, and let your shoulder blades slide down and back. Hands visible, never jammed into pockets in a way that hides thumbs. Thumbs out, especially when placed casually on your pockets or belt line. Signal comfort and masculine openness. Your neck stays long, not turtle forward. Hold stillness for 5 seconds at a time, then let your body breathe. Stillness is power because it shows your nervous system doesn't spasm to fill silence. You become an anchor in the room rather than a boat tossed by waves. Your fourth gesture is the deliberate pause. High-status communication isn't just what you say, it's the spaciousness you give your words and movements. Burgoon's expectancy violations research shows that breaking predicted patterns draws attention. When you insert a micro-pause before you speak or move, you violate expectations in a positive way. Try this. When she asks you a question, take a 1-beat inhale through the nose. Keep your gaze on her eyes, then answer at 3/4 of your normal speed. This is not monotone, it's measured. You're signaling that you consider before you commit. The pause works in movement too. If you're about to pick up your glass, wait a half second, then do it. If you're about to lean in to speak over music, wait. Gesture her slightly closer with your fingers palm up, then lean. Each micro delay builds anticipation. Desire is a tension between approach and restraint. Men who rush collapse that tension. You will master it by loving silence instead of fearing it. Your fifth gesture is the proximity dial. Edward T. Hall's proxemics shows that the space between bodies communicates as loudly as words. Your task is to modulate distance like a dimmer, not a light switch. Start outside of her personal space. Think a comfortable arm's length plus a hand. As the conversation warms, step closer by 10 to 15%, then let the moment sit. Watch for reciprocation. If she maintains or closes the gap, your dial is calibrated. If she leans back or turns a shoulder to create space, you mirror her boundary and step back a hair more than expected, which paradoxically increases safety and reignites pursuit. Remember, desire dies in claustrophobia and grows in breathable closeness. Combine proximity with volume control. Lower your voice slightly as you close the distance, forcing a subtle lean in from her. That lean is a green light. The key is the word dial. Jerky in and out motions feel needy. Smooth incremental adjustments feel intentional and masculine. Your sixth gesture is the touch ladder with ethical calibration. Touch is potent because it collapses the gap between imagination and reality, but it must be earned and mutual. Research like Krusko and Wetzel's classic study on touch, increasing positive responses, or later work on incidental touch affecting impressions, tells us a gentle, context-appropriate touch can warm interaction when it aligns with social norms and personal comfort. Your ladder is simple. Start with context-safe zones. Brief, feather-light touch on the outer forearm during a shared laugh, a light tap on the elbow to guide through a crowded space, a palm-to-palm handshake that's warm and slow to release by half a second. Touch should always be punctuated by your withdrawal first, giving her the chance to reinitiate. If she touches you back, forearm, shoulder, or playfully nudges, that's reciprocity, and the latter can progress in microsteps. If she doesn't reciprocate, you hold. You never escalate when feedback is neutral or negative. Consent is sexy because it reveals desire explicitly. The man who can hold his line until the signal is unmistakable generates more heat than the man who pushes for contact early. A calibration rule. If the environment is professional or formal, err on the side of zero escalation and let verbal connection do the work. In casual social settings, light, fleeting touch embedded in a shared joke or a guiding moment is all you need to plant the seed. Your seventh gesture is the frame lock. Most men leak approval-seeking in their head nods and fidgets. They overnod, oversmile, and overagree, thinking it proves they're nice. In reality, it reads as self-abandonment. The frame lock is the art of nodding once, slowly, only when you genuinely agree, and keeping your head level the rest of the time. Keep your chin neither up nor down. Level signals parity and presence. Press your tongue lightly to the roof of your mouth to relax your jaw and prevent nervous chatter. Relax your hands by resting a thumb along your index finger's first knuckle. It gives your hands a home so they don't search for pockets as a hiding place. When she tests you, by teasing, by challenging a point, or by going silent, don't scramble to patch the silence. Breathe. Let the moment hang, then answer succinctly. Stoic poise is irresistible because it promises steadiness under pressure. Irving Goffman wrote about frames as interpretive structures. In Attraction, your frame is the emotional climate you carry. The frame lock says, "I won't bend to be liked, but I will meet you with warmth." That mixture is intoxicating. Your eighth gesture is the diagonal lean and open angle. Standing directly face-to-face can feel confrontational or interview-like. Angling your body at roughly 45 degrees while keeping your chest open reduces pressure and invites flow. If you're at a bar, lean with your back against it and your near shoulder slightly forward, creating a V-shaped space she can step into. If you're standing, pivot one foot outward so your hips aren't squared like a soldier at inspection. This diagonal stance does three things. It shows you're not trapping her, it gives her a safe lane to enter your space, and it makes you look broader through the torso. Couple the diagonal with an open palm gesture as you speak. Palm up says invitation, palm down says authority. Use palm up most of the time, then punctuate a decisive statement with palm down for contrast. Your body becomes a clear directional sign. I'm open to you, and I lead when it matters. Your ninth gesture is the slow hand grammar. People don't just listen to your words, they watch how your hands punctuate them. In Knapp and Hall's nonverbal research, illustrators, those natural hand movements that accompany speech, make you more persuasive and more likable when they're congruent and measured. Your rule: hands move at half speed with clear shapes. 3 archetypes are your toolkit. First, the invitation. Palm up, fingers relaxed. Slight ushering motion towards you when you ask a question or open a topic. Second, the slice. Palm vertical, a gentle edge hand that cuts the air when you draw a boundary or make a decisive point. Third, the steeple. Fingertips touching lightly at chest height when you're listening, which conveys composed confidence without arrogance. Keep gestures within the box from your collarbone to your navel. Too high looks frantic, too low disappears. The moment you feel your wrists flapping, anchor them lightly on the edge of a table or link your fingers loosely and reset. Slow hand grammar paired with vocal warmth makes her relax into your presence. Your 10th gesture is the exit first principle. Desire accelerates in anticipation and memory. The last moment of an interaction disproportionately shapes how it's encoded. Endings that are decisive and warm create a craving for the next chapter. When it's time to go, maybe you're stepping out to meet friends or you need to leave the cafe, end on your timing. Do not linger until attention decays. Stand or shift your weight first, let your torso angle toward your next move, make eye contact, smile with your eyes, and deliver a clear, lean sentence. I've got to run, but I liked this. Let's pick it up later. Then extend your hand palm up slightly to invite a brief touch or hug if appropriate, release first, and turn away with relaxed shoulders, not with a backward tug looking for permission. This exit leaves oxygen in the interaction. She will replay your calm clarity because you didn't squeeze the moment for reassurance. You let it. Now, installing these gestures requires repetition, but not rote acting. They must become the default output of a calmer input, your inner state. Stoicism isn't coldness, it's disciplined attention to what you can govern, your breath, your posture, your pace, your choices, and detachment from what you cannot. Instant approval, other people's moods, random outcomes. You will feel a new kind of quiet authority when you rehearse state first, signal second. Here's how to train. First, pick one gesture per day for the next 10 days. Today is the lock and release gaze. For the next 24 hours, with every human you meet, barista, coworker, stranger at the elevator, you practice the 2-second gaze, 1-second release. You do it softly, universally, so it stops feeling like a performance around women and starts feeling like who you are in the world. Tomorrow, it's the slow head turn and half smile. The day after, the expansive anchor. You stack them. Second, Film short clips of yourself on your phone practicing the hand grammar and diagonal stance. Most men hate this step because it reveals fidgets they didn't know they had. Good. Awareness is power. Watch at 1.5x speed. Fast playback will exaggerate jittery movements you need to smooth. Aim to remove 30% of unnecessary motion. Your goal isn't to become a statue, vitality is attractive, but to kill the noise that signals anxiety. Third, rehearse proximity and volume at home. Stand at a wall and speak a single sentence. Nice to meet you. I like your perspective on that. At a normal distance. Then step in by 15%, lower your volume by 10%, and repeat. Your nervous system learns that intimacy does not equal danger. It equals choice. When you're out, your body will know how to dial without thought. Fourth, train ethical touch sensitivity. Rub your thumb and index finger together and notice how many distinct ridges you can feel. That tactile awareness, sometimes called a sensitivity drill, will make your touch naturally lighter. Heavy, grabbing touch screams need and control. Feather-light touch that releases first signals self-possession and respect. Remember, your release timing is as communicative as the touch itself. Fifth, practice the exit first principle in low-stakes contexts. When a conversation at work is winding down, be the man who concludes warmly and clearly. I've got what I need, thanks for that. Then pivot and leave. You're building a habit of endings that are clean, not ambiguous. When it matters with women, you'll do it without thinking, and the aftertaste will be attractive. Let's tighten the calibration on each gesture with advanced nuance. The gaze should never be glassy or hard. Keep your forehead relaxed, eyebrows neutral or slightly positive, and let your focus land on her left eye, then her right eye, then center. Tiny shifts prevent the intensity from feeling like a challenge. If you wear glasses, tilt your head slightly down to avoid glare obscuring your eyes. If your eyes naturally dart, anchor them by noticing a micro detail, a fleck of color, the curl of an eyelash, and breathe out slowly as you look. The slow head turn is most effective when paired with still shoulders. Many men swivel their whole torso. It looks eager. Keep your chest open, rotate the head first, follow with minimal torso. The half smile should break at the eyes before the mouth. If you can't feel your eye muscles engage, you're faking it. Think of something genuinely amusing and let the smile happen, then disappear. That vanishing smile is part of the magic. Tension, release, tension. The expansive anchor needs knees that are unlocked. Locked knees create stiffness. Unlocked knees create athletic poise. Imagine there's weight in your heels, not your toes. Heels signal groundedness. To prevent the gorilla chest, think length, not puff. Picture a string lifting the crown of your head while your tailbone drops. Men who chase big look try hard. Men who quietly take space look secure. The deliberate pause must feel like savoring, not stalling. Pair it with a very light inhale through the nose, the kind you'd use to smell fresh coffee. That sensory anchor makes the pause human. When you answer, start with the last word she said if it fits. Spontaneous? Then your point. Mirroring language plus a pause equals felt empathy plus leadership. The proximity dial fails when you step in and stay in. Dance it. After a close statement, step back 2 inches and lean on your back leg, then let her decide. Body language is a negotiation. If she closes, you let the space dissolve. If she doesn't, you maintain the comfortable distance and keep the vibe playful. If she's seated and you approach, angle your body so you're not towering dead on. Drop to her level when appropriate. Hip lean to the bar, crouch beside a chair for a moment, so eye lines nearly match. Same height, less threat. Touch calibration lives and dies on shoulder tension. If your shoulders are up, your touch will be clumsy. Exhale, drop your shoulders, and imagine touching with the surface of your skin, not the weight of your muscles. Always touch on the out-breath. Time it with a shared moment, laughter, agreeing on a point, moving through a crowd. If you ever wonder if a touch was welcome, assume nothing and slow down. Reciprocity is your only green light. Frame lock becomes magnetic when you consciously reduce your nod count. Most men nod 4 or 5 times per sentence when they're nervous. Cut it to 1. This doesn't mean blank face, it means deliberate acknowledgement. A single, slow nod at the conclusion of her point with a slight squint that says you're thinking beats a bobblehead every time. If she teases you, don't rush to defend. Smile with your eyes and let the joke land. Then return play with a light tease that targets the situation, not her identity. Calm men escalate play without escalating tension. The diagonal lean works best when you give her an entry. If you're at a table, leave a gap for her to step into your space if she chooses. If you're against a counter, shift your near foot back slightly to create a pocket. Your hands rest easily, one on the edge, one relaxed at your side, ready to gesture open. When you speak, your shoulders barely move. Your hands do the punctuation in that chest-to-navel box. This looks cinematic because it is. Directors block actors diagonally to build chemistry without conflict. Slow hand grammar becomes art when you simplify. Imagine each gesture leaves a visible line in the air. Could someone draw it? If your movements are vague, your message is vague. If your movements are crisp and unhurried, your message sharpens. Practice 3 sentences in a mirror with 1 gesture per sentence. Notice how much clearer you feel. Clarity is hot. The exit first principle ties the entire system together because it reveals independence. When you end on your timing, you communicate, "I live a full life, and I'm inviting you into it." That invitation carries more charge than any line. Make your last look warm, not hungry. Hungry looks beg. Warm looks promise. Layer these signals over masculine virtues, and you become rare. Women are not machines. There are no guarantees. But women, like men, are exquisitely sensitive to coherence. When your gaze, posture, pace, proximity, touch, stance, gestures, and endings all tell the same story, self-respect with open curiosity, her body relaxes. Relaxation is the soil where desire grows. She will want to know more, not because you tricked her, but because you stopped getting in your own way. Now let's forge these gestures into habit with scenario drills you can apply immediately. Picture a social mixer. Noise level is medium. You've noticed her across the room. You begin with the expansive anchor, shoulders down, chest quietly open, hands visible. You take your time crossing the room. Deliberate pace. She notices your approach because you're not zigzagging, you're floating. When you're within earshot, you execute the slow head turn with half smile, then the lock and release gaze. "I liked your take on that travel story," you say with a measured cadence, slow hand grammar inviting palm up. She replies, "You start your proximity dial by reducing distance 10% and lower your voice a notch. You hold frame lock, no fidget, no overnod. At a shared laugh, you use a feather-like touch ladder moment on the outer forearm, release first. She retouches your shoulder as she emphasizes a point. That's reciprocity. You hold, maintain diagonal orientation, and as the energy peaks, you use exit first. "I'm grabbing a drink, walk with me, or I'll circle back in a bit." She chooses. Either answer is a win because you led. Next scenario, seated cafe. She's at a table with a book. You don't interrupt like a tornado. You approach diagonally, pause to let your presence be noticed, and when she glances up, you deliver lock and release gaze and half smile. "That author's ruthless about truth," you say, slow and warm. What's your take? Your hands stay within the chest-to-navel box. If she's closed off, you honor it and exit first with grace. If she opens, you let the conversation breathe. At some point, you test proximity by leaning in slightly as you lower volume. If she leans in too, you're in. When you leave, you end on your timing. "Good talk. I'm heading out. Another time." Her memory of you is clean, confident, and tinged with curiosity. Let's add the internal layer that makes all of this effortless. Breath and posture as state control. Without announcing it, breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 1, out for 5. Longer exhales activate calm. Do this as you walk, as you stand, before you speak, and before you touch. While you exhale, imagine your shoulder blades sliding down your back and your jaw softening. A relaxed jaw changes your entire facial tone from tension to invitation. Your voice drops half a step, your words land deeper, and your eyes gleam instead of strain. Desire is drawn to that glow because it reads as life without need, a word about authenticity. You might worry that practicing gestures is fake. It's not. Every skill begins as a conscious pattern that you rehearse until it becomes unconscious competence. Athletes drill footwork, musicians drill scales. You are drilling masculine presence. Over time, these gestures won't feel like gestures. They'll feel like you, Because they always were you, under the noise. The practice simply removes what blocks your natural magnetism, speed, fidgeting, grasping for outcomes, and fear of silence. We should also talk about boundaries, because nothing kills desire faster than a man who disrespects them. Your proximity dial must never bulldoze. Your touch ladder must never jump rungs. Your gaze must never trap. If a woman signals no, verbally or non-verbally, you become the embodiment of yes to that boundary. That paradoxically increases trust and often attraction. Women desire men who can contain their own impulses. That's maturity. That's leadership. That's rare. Now, you might be thinking, I want a practical checklist I can carry tonight. You already have it, but I'll compress it into a rhythm you can remember. See, slow, open, wait, dial, read, invite, lead, release. See her with lock and release. Slow your head and smile with the eyes. Open your stance. Wait with a deliberate pause. Dial proximity gently. Read feedback. Invite with palm-up gestures. Lead with calm statements. Release first. Touch, gaze, and exit. That rhythm turns chaos into choreography. Here's a final calibration secret that advanced men use. Micro-contrasts. Attraction loves contrast. Pair a warm smile with a still body. Pair an assertive statement with soft eye contact. Pair a step closer with a lower voice. Pair a strong boundary with a playful tone. These contrasts tell her you're not one-dimensional. You can be tender without being weak, strong without being harsh. When she feels those contrasts embodied, desire wakes up because she senses depth. You're ready to take this into the world. Don't wait for the perfect night or the perfect venue. Practice in the grocery line, on a walk, in a brief chat with a stranger about coffee. Practice when nothing is at stake so it's second nature when everything is. Remember, you're not chasing reactions, you're refining signals. You're not performing for approval, you're revealing composure. The man who lives by these 10 gestures walks into a room and women feel it. Safety, strength, and spark in one body. So here's your immediate drill for the next hour. Wherever you are after this ends, stand up and set the expansive anchor. Heels grounded, chest quietly open, shoulders down, neck long. Walk to a mirror and deliver the slow head turn with half smile. Then hold lock and release gaze with yourself for 2 seconds. Speak one sentence at 3/4 speed with a deliberate pause. Practice the invitation, palm up, the slice, and the steeple with crisp, slow movements. Step forward by 15%, lower your voice, and say, "Good to meet you." Step back. Then take 3 steps and practice an elegant exit. Do that twice. You will feel it, a different current in your body. That current is what women notice first, and it's why these 10 gestures work even before a single word leaves your mouth. You've learned to use your eyes to hold and release, your head to signal curiosity instead of need, your posture to anchor, your pauses to build anticipation, your distance to dial attraction instead of collapsing it, your touch to warm ethically, your frame to steady her tests, your angle to invite, your hands to speak a second language, and your ending to leave a sweet ache. Put them together, and you don't have to overcompensate with lines or tricks. Your presence says it all. She reads it instantly. Here is a man whose body tells the truth, grounded, generous, unhurried, and that is irresistible.